I got these people in my house making all kinds of noise, but I won't let them have me to be a victim. I'm going to control my own thoughts and my feelings. And no matter what they do out there, I'm going to do this podcast the best I can. All right. Now, the other thing is that you want to connect, and you want to connect with that higher power or God or whatever. You want to be able to feel, when when I grew up, I would hear in church that you need to have a personal relationship with God. And I never really understood that until now. Yes, you want to ascend to the frequency of God. And what do we say God was? God is love. And this next slide, we're going to talk about what love is. But God is love, and you want to be able to connect with that. And that's where you find your purpose. Now, this is another thing. Well, I knew this from anatomy also, but there's a gland in your head called the pineal gland. It sits kind of in the middle back portion of your head. It's a very small little gland. It looks like a pine cone. That's why it's called the pineal gland. And you know how birds know how to fly north in the summer? It's 95 degrees here in Atlanta, and the birds fly north in the summer, and they come back. Well, they have this GPS, that pineal gland that they have. All animals have a pineal gland, and that pineal gland, it can tune in to frequencies in the electromagnetic field around the earth. So this is pure science. This is not, spiritual mumbo jumbo. This is pure science. The electromagnetic field around the earth is a GPS system for animals. Okay, animals. I went to Africa 10, 12 years ago and saw the Great Migration. Well, how do they know where to go and when to go? They have a GPS system. They can tune into frequencies that we can't tune into if we don't train ourselves into doing that. And we spent 7 days. We did 17 different meditations for a total of 35 hours. And the whole goal was to activate our GPS system, is to activate that pineal gland. And the reason why we have to reactivate it is because there's certain things in our environment that cause that pineal gland to calcify. And one of them is fluoride. And this is proven. I'm not some environmentalist tree hugger. This is pure science. Fluoride calcifies our pineal gland, and it makes it hard for our GPS system to work. And that GPS system in you guides you toward your destiny. It guides you toward it's your intuitive sense. But a lot of times either it doesn't work or we don't trust it. And so that's why you have to focus on changing your frequency, changing your environment so that your body can function like it's supposed to function. And so there's certain frequencies in our office. They don't know it. We play pineal activation frequencies. There's certain frequencies that will activate your pineal gland so that you can have better intuition. And so that was our goal for 7 days. And the things that's happened there were unbelievable. They actually are going to put out the scientific research that shows 7 days at that conference can change people's biology just in 7 days. And the guy who was doing the research, he couldn't believe the information and the results that he was getting. And through the meditations, you can increase your immune function. You can change your gut microbiome. You can change how your brain works. You can look at brain waves, and you can see that they're going into a more calm type of brainwave activity. And when you are calm and your mind is clear, that's when your intuition can come in. That's that still small voice that we're talking about. So, and then the purpose of your spiritual need anchors you in your why. Your purpose provides unwavering motivation through life's challenges. So as you are challenged, if you know what your purpose is, you know how to navigate those challenges. My purpose is to spread this information in any way I can, through podcasts, through Instagram, through TikTok, whatever. I want people to know the truth. I want people to understand how their body works, how their mind works, and how can they live a life and live it more abundantly. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, this is what we talked about at Joe Dispenza also. We are caught up in this material realm, what we see, what we touch, what we feel. And that is the very base of frequencies or vibration. So you have to look at vibrations or frequencies. They have to slow down in order for you to see them. What we are seeing is the small spectrum of frequencies that light can bounce off of, and we see it as being solid. But really, everything is vibrating. And again, I told you I got really interested in quantum physics, and that's what quantum physics talks about, is that everything vibrates at a certain frequency. And as frequencies slow down, you begin to see things. You can see them and touch them. But there's also frequencies that you can't see and you can't touch. And those are the frequencies that you need to tune into in order to really live your life to the fullest. So I'm pretty much on this 4D, where you have this spiritual seeking, a higher consciousness. I want to be able to tune into those higher frequencies so that I can live life as my higher self. You have a lower self, you have what we call the animal self, and then you have the spiritual self. And again, I could talk for days about this, but that's where the chakras are talking about. These are energy centers. And again, this is all pure science. Okay. It's been proven. You can measure the energy, you can do all this. So we are trying to get to a higher frequency so that we can see the world in a different way, that we are not bound by just what we see. There are things higher than us that can influence us and influence the world. And that's the path I'm going through right now. And then when you get to the 9th and 12th dimension, that's when you really get in touch with God and the mind of God. And that's the ultimate ascension. That's when you become what we call enlightened. And that highest dimension is the dimension of love. We all say that God is love. All right. So what does that mean when we say God is love? And early on, when I first started this, I started to listen to 1 Corinthians 13th chapter every morning. I did a voice memo and I read it and I listened to it. The reason why is that my dad was a Baptist minister, and every Sunday he read this scripture. And so it just stuck with me. And so when I got into this and actually, start thinking about what my higher purpose is, I started reading that every day. And I just want to read it for you, and let's just talk about it. And after that, we'll have a break. So this is 1 Corinthians 13th chapter, and it says, "If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal." So every word I say in this podcast, I want to make sure I'm saying it from a basis of love, because if not, I'm just wasting my time. And so, and if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith, all the faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And even if I give away all that I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. So if you're doing anything because you want to get likes, or you want to be in the newspaper because you gave $10 million away to somebody, if you're not doing it out of love, it's absolutely meaningless. All right. So we want to always be coming from a focus of love. And now here's the other thing. So let's describe love. We say God is love. So love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. So, those are hard qualities to manifest. But if you want to have the mind of God, though, these are the characteristics. So it does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. So when I see someone going wrong, I can't rejoice in that. I have to rejoice in the truth. And so when I'm talking about stress or saliva testing or spirituality, it's because I'm rejoicing in the truth. Okay. And if I know the truth, I have to, I have to acknowledge it, even if it goes against what I previously believed. And that's what I learned in Egypt. I had to come to grips with a lot of truths that I didn't realize before because it went against my beliefs. Okay. But if I'm coming from a source of love, I have to pay attention to the truth, even if it blows away all of my previous beliefs. And that's very hard to do. All right. So love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And it says, uh, as for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. Now, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I gave away childish things. Now, I talked about spirituality. Now, when you are in your first 7 years, excuse me, first 7 years of life, you are pretty much hypnotized. So whatever concept you had of God or religion, that was kind of given to you in your first 7 years. And some people got the image of God as being punitive, that it was out to get you. It wanted to catch you if you were making a mistake. But that's not what this verse is saying that love is. Love doesn't look at your wrongdoings. It doesn't even remember them. Okay. It bears all things. It believes all things. It hopes all things. Love never ends. So it's nothing you can do to separate you from the love of God. That's in Romans. There's nothing that can separate you from the love of God. So if you have this punitive idea of God and you think God is love, I would tell you to read this every day so that you can have in your mind what love is and what you should be aspiring to is to be like this. And I look at this and I say, well, this is how I have to treat my wife. And this is how I have to treat my children. No matter what they do, I can bear it. I can endure it. I will never end. The love for them will never end. And you have to think about your parent. My dad died 33 years ago, but I have to believe I knew he loved me when he was living, and love never ends. His energy and his spirit still loves me, and I still love his energy and his spirit. So that's the beautiful thing. And when you look at it like this, it helps you to get over your fear of death. And that's when you are truly free. When you can understand where you